I want a shirt that just has like every euphemism for pussy like written across it and just say Regina at the bottom. Of it, you know what I mean, right? Like wizard sleeve, axe wound, bin, like all this like crazy shit.
Wow.
Mud flaps.
Yeah, I love it, right? And then fucking experience Regina right at the bottom.
That's great. That's great. Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast. I'm Jackie Agnew.
I'm Johnny DeVito.
And I'm Ty Boissonneau.
You goddamn right you are.
And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, why don't you hit that subscribe button, click that like button, leave a comment, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
All the good.
There is a Twitter account that I think we used once
We can tweet.
when we first started the podcast that hasn't been touched since then.
I like the idea of Twitter. I got on there and I was like, I'm going to be like the best one-liner comedian on Twitter. And then after like 7 or 8 really good ones and no followers, I was like, what am I doing this for?
I remember we started the Twitter account. I think it was like even before we put out the first episode, and we had one tweet that I still think is hilarious. And then I think we just kind of left it at that. It was like,
go out on top.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
was something like, some people are uncomfortable with breastfeeding in public, but we find once you latch on, the world really disappears.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That's good.
Pretty funny.
That's nice.
I like how you still have a tweet out there that's from ages ago that could still get you canceled later in the future. That's fantastic. That's what you want in a tweet, though, really, right?
You want to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for them to find you,
Just a
right?
little
If
bit.
there's no breadcrumbs, then they can't find you.
Yeah.
Talk about us negatively too. Bring on the negative comments. Let's boost the
Any
algorithm.
press is good press.
We love it.
Yeah.
Leave a 5-star review. You know the drill. Tell your
neighbor.
friends,
Tell your neighbor.
tell your family, tell your neighbor. Tell that guy you always see walking his dog on the street.
Yeah, you're too afraid to
there's
say
always
hi
one.
to him because you found him in a park probably cruising a little bit when you were like, this is too close to home, right?
The
So
most you've done is smile at the dog.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're going to want to do is avert your gaze
Upwards.
past the man's crotch, up
Yeah.
to his eyes, and say,
Yeah.
hey, man, show me yours.
You're like, I don't know if you've checked out this podcast, but I think you would love it.
Yeah. You don't want to
Yeah.
stop at the crotch and say, show me yours.
Yeah,
You got to make
no,
sure,
no.
very
You
important,
gotta
that you get up
maintain eye
to the
contact.
eyes.
Yeah.
If you're going to pause on your way up, I'm not going to judge you.
Oh, yeah. You can linger. You can linger.
Yeah.
But when
Or-
you suggest the podcast, maybe.
You do, yes.
look in
If
the
you do
eyes.
pause at the crotch, then maybe stick to just crotch-related stuff, right? If you want to
Yeah.
if you just want him to show you his,
Yeah.
then you know what I mean. You can pause there, but
All we
spread
Well,
the
if
word.
you're going to pause at the crotch, then address the crotch appropriately.
Yeah.
Of
you
course.
Know? Yeah.
All
yeah.
we ask is that post-coitus,
yeah.
that you've listened to the Show Me Yours podcast.
Yeah. This is
light
great.
a cigarette,
I
you know
was
what I
gonna
mean?
say.
Snuggle up.
This is great to listen to
yeah.
after some love making.
Definitely. With a stranger, pet his dog. You know,
Yeah.
now you guys are falling in love, right?
Yeah.
And you're listening to us.
It was so funny on when my friends were here on Wednesday for the concert, and my friend Madison, she doesn't get out much because she's a mom of 2 now.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but when we do go out and drink, she is just like she was in like her early 20s and teenagers.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that animalistic nature really
Dude,
comes
shout out
out.
Drunk Maddie.
Oh, man.
Ty had a
Drunk-
great introduction.
Drunk Maddie is a great time. As is Drunk Shelby, too. I will say that as well.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. No, you got a good crew. Those girls are hilarious. Yeah, it was a great time.
We got to the seats probably like a minute before you guys did, and within that minute, we had our drinks, we were bopping around, and Maddie had kicked over one of her ciders. We're in as high as you can go and as far back
Level
as you
400
can go.
of Rogers Arena for the Red Hot Chili
411. Row.
Oh, it was Rogers? I thought it was BC Place. That was, that sounds so
BC
bad.
Place. It was
Oh, was
BC
it
Place.
Place?
It was
Oh,
BC Place.
even
Oh,
farther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were section 411, row double Z. So literally,
The alphabet wasn't big enough.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They don't even make titties that big.
Yeah. And Maddie had knocked her cider over, and immediately she's like, I gotta Zamboni this. And for those of you who weren't drinking at house parties in Canada as a teenager, Zamboni basically means if you knock a drink over, you have to slurp it up off the surface you knocked it over. And so Maddie is on all fours, slurping her cider off of the floor at row double Z at BC Place. And that is when Ty and Peter, high on mushrooms, walk up to the scene.
After a Lord of the Rings journey to get to this fucking corner of BC Place. It was insane. We took these penis heavy mushrooms, and they're very strong. But I was like, how strong can they be? And I was like, but it was only like 2 grams each. The getting up there was like walking in an Escher drawing. Like it was just like this staircase is like, how am I going down but up at the same time? And like you go, like there's that stupid like
so glad you
walkway.
explained that for me because like I was just gonna nod through that, knowing thinking
the staircase drawing. It's like just
it
was just
when the escalators are crossing.
or like just that one like ramp. Those ramps that were like
like when we have to walk up the ramp.
So at one point, like, you're going up. But then you could see people lined up going down, but you're like, I just came from there and there was nobody there. How is this structurally? And also just so hard. And then as soon as you get up, you're like, finally you're up to the top and it's just a zoo of sounds and people.
Yeah.
It's like, and then
we've made a terrible decision.
And then we get to where the seats are and it's like, where are you? And the person holding the ticket sees your ticket goes, up there.
Yeah, and it was like, even like drunk, those stairs were a lot. Like it was a lot of stairs.
I was like
going
holding onto that
up.
fucking rail. I was looking for a Sherpa to bring me up.
It's intense when you get to the top there, like especially like when you're like party zone. There's been a few times where I'm thinking like if I like you could tumble and just go right down like a crowd surf the entire audience right all the way to the field.
And it is as bright as a fucking Mac store in there, by the way. Like
especially
pre-show, it was like, what are we doing?
Like, so the roof at BC Stadium can retract, right? And so even when it's closed, like you're still getting like the natural light and stuff. And so when the concert started, doors were at 5. So when you get in there, it's still light. Like there were 2 openers. City and Color was the second one. When they came on, it was still bright. And then it kind of got dark like as their set went on. But yeah, there's a lot of sunlight in there. Like it was very bright. Yeah.
My Lord. Yeah, and then walking up, and the first thing we see is your homegirl just slurping up the cider. And I go, you're the one with 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
By the fucking end of the concert, Shelby was standing up on the seat, had 1 foot on each armrest, and had her hands locked in the fucking vents in the ceiling.
Just going for it.
And then we finally, they also had these like giant pool noodles worth of popcorn. That's the only denomination you could buy popcorn at BC Place is by pool noodle. Give me 2 noodles, you say.
And Shelby like made the good call to get one. And we were like, loving this popcorn, especially at the end of the concert, waiting to get out because it took a while. We're all doing handfuls of this popcorn. And then at one point, Ty notices Shelby's hands are just like fucking
She's
black.
right into the fence of BC Place.
We're all fucking doing big scoops of this popcorn. Oh my god!
I was so excited to see that popcorn come home because I'm a big popcorn guy. I'm just glad that I didn't get to them like beforehand because you left them on the counter for like a day.
I did, and I was even gonna because I had forgot about that or I hadn't put it together in my head, so I purposely like left it out because I'm totally gonna finish this popcorn. And then as I was dropping them off the next morning, we were talking about it and we were like, oh my god, we were all eating out of that popcorn. But the reason why I got into this, what reminded me of this is then before we had gone out, Maddie had bought this like bag of chips, salt and vinegar Miss Vicky's.
Great flavor.
Great flavor.
Chip.
Great
At
crunch.
the end of the night, like I had like gone to bed with Johnny and I brought up Maddie's chips and we were just fucking going to town on these chips,
so
like
good.
chip dust everywhere. And then all of a sudden I hear Maddie outside of our bedroom door knocking and she's like, is there love making going on in here?
I mean, you and me in a bag of chips. There was love.
Yeah, you're damn right
Like,
there is.
no. Just covered in chip dust. You can come in, Maddie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you hide the chips?
No, I gave him back
no,
to actually
yeah.
rolled them up, and like I was embarrassed because there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
there
yeah,
was
I
like
ate the
4
chips.
chips left in the bag. And you don't want to be that guy, but you know, sometimes
You left a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right. So it's all good, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But she had a night, you know what I mean. She leaves with you know, memories and a hangover and hepatitis for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Like, she's got to get checked. Like that's not, you know, like the way to do it. 'Cause
Well, post COVID, you got to build your immune system back
Right,
up.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was-
Sure.
yeah.
But like after like a game in a stadium or whatever, they'll send a guy through to like sweep up. But I don't think that floor gets mopped. You know what I mean?
Well, so the other thing
Unless
was
it's with her
that
lips.
there was a lot of drinks spilt
Sure.
during the concert, and we were dancing behind the seats and stuff, but it was like goddamn near ankle deep of fucking liquid. I was just like tap dancing in, just like kicking it up.
Just singing in the rain.
Yeah, there's a lot of liquid.
You ever been contact high by booze?
Oh yeah. No. I just got.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
People are kicking up, splashing the
Yeah.
cider. Old tie shit face.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's the energy.
I will say that I didn't get to say at the concert because I was just
Yeah.
way too gone on mushroom.
Yeah.
And I know that you've got to do this, and you've got to see some concert with him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really cool, and I do feel quite lucky that I got to see that concert with you and your homegirls
Sure,
too,
yeah.
Yeah,
because it was really fucking cool, and I had
Yeah.
so many nostalgic points. But it was great being with a crew of people that I'm like, oh, you fucking love this band, and it was like, yeah, we
Yeah.
all like really appreciate. 'Cause
Yeah,
there were some
we
people
were
there
having
definitely that were like, I mean,
people in front of us were not having as good of a time.
Show
the
somebody
guy
the
with
truth.
the guy with the cane was all right.
Yeah.
Shout out guy with the cane.
Yeah.
There were a couple couples where the
The two of them left.
yeah,
they
the
were not
two
having
left,
it.
and there was a couple. Like the lady kind of kept looking back at us. We were, I
But
mean,
there was one
yeah.
shit-faced chick, like, who
Oh
kept
yeah, the
lighting
girl
up
in
this
like the
bark
bra,
weed.
yeah,
The worst.
Low grade, just smelling
Yeah.
like shit. Nah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
just the worst weed.
yeah.
But if you are back there, you get the opportunity to smoke, though. Right?
Oh,
Like,
I was.
that's-
Oh,
fucking
that's it.
nuts.
It's so yeah. It was funny because
It's not discreet
because
at all.
buying the tickets, I was like, man, like section 411 row, like double Z, like these are literally the worst seats you could possibly get. And then we got there and we're like, these are the perfect seats
Oh,
for
yeah.
us right now because there's no one behind us. There's room to dance and shit.
We
and
had
could
so
really,
much
like-
room, which like
Yeah.
I could say that being stupid high mushrooms
Yeah.
was like nice.
It
Well,
was
that's the best
really
way
nice.
to do it, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that if anybody is looking for it's hard when you're trying to buy tickets or whatever because you're so excited, you're so invested in like what's this night going to be like, and if you're not splurging to get fucking front row or floor seats or anything like that,
Exactly.
then go to the back and party.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Because like when you're fucking like G section or whatever, just above the glass, if
Yeah.
you're like a hockey fan, kind of like in that like tight
Yeah.
packed area, then you're in the middle section. Like there's nothing that I hate more than being fucking like stuck in. I'm an aisle seat guy all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
right? Like I
yeah.
want to fuck
Yeah.
off.
You and
I'm
the
drinking
gams,
a
I
lot.
get it. The
Yeah.
gams, yeah.
Huge, like long legs. And
Yeah.
I'd like to, you know what I mean? If I'm at the show, then you know, fuck it. You're here, $10 beers. That's what it is. I'm going to get them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't
we
want to
made
be
a
the guy
couple
that's like
trips, yeah.
fucking, excuse me, pardon me, like all the way through.
Exactly, yeah.
Like go to the back and you know what I mean, and then you can really get into it, right? Because at that point
Exactly,
it's just
yeah.
a party. If you're not going to spend the extra money to be up front with the band, then be
Yeah.
there with the homies in the back.
Yeah, and because they had like a floor section where it was no seats and stuff. And if you're in there and you get to the front, that's fucking sick. But then they had another floor section where it was seats. And I was looking, I was like, those seats fucking suck
Yeah.
because
They're
it's
just
all
a
on flat
folding
ground.
chair, and it's
on
like
a flat
and
ground.
most people weren't even
Just-
standing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Which
it's
is
like you
wild
can't
to
see
me.
fuck all.
Yeah.
Like you're just
Classic
looking at the
mistake.
screens and it's like these seats are way better.
Everybody
than that.
gets
yeah.
those seats. I was in a I
Good
went-
tasting floors.
Oh
And
yeah.
Great floors, great ceiling vents, can hold a human body.
Yeah.
When I was with when I was living in Vernon, there was not a lot of shows that come through the area, right? So they're coming to the hockey arena in Kelowna was like Loverboy and Journey and like just like the 80s extravaganza
Sick.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? So we got stoked, you know, and we like roll in there and we had those fucking seats, and it was the worst experience because like you're first of all, like if you're at a show, it's like it's a standing party. Right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not sitting down to watch fucking I probably won't go to a show if it's a sit down show. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I really can't stand that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But So when you're like locked in on the floor or whatever, like we had this situation at the rickshaw.
Yeah.
When we went and saw the Slackers right after COVID. So the rickshaw is just like prime place for chaos, the best like punk venue in the city, I think, like by and large. And when you're there seeing like that size of a band, everybody's gonna dance, especially at a ska show. Like I mean, we're born to skank. Right? Yeah. So what the fuck are we doing in this like seated environment? And it was so hard for them to try to police it because as soon as you put seats there, everybody's inevitably going to stand up, and those little black folding chairs aren't very fucking heavy, so they're moving around, and you know what I mean. It just becomes like a pain in the ass. Yeah. Shout out to that guy that got kicked out.
Yeah, and that was still during when there were like the COVID rules were still in place, and so everyone had to be wearing masks, and there was an announcement reminding us that dancing was still illegal. At that point,
dude, it was the
it was crazy.
1984
it was crazy. We're in the town from Footloose. Right?
100%. Right? Somebody is like they're policing every
dance.
Yeah, it was awful, especially
crazy,
at that ska show. And there's this dude in front of us that's like
me I can't fucking skank around.
Right? 100, right? Like it was very upsetting, right? So, but you know what I mean. From a comedic aspect, we're looking at each other and having fun with it, right? We're like, this is hilarious. Like, what a weird time, you know, to be here. But there's this dude like at a Slackers show, like the ska umbrella goes from like, you know what I mean, pretty chill, kind of almost like a lounge vibe, all the way to like, you know what I mean, Operation Ivy, like gutter punks, right? So like you'll have all these different, you know, kind of people in there, some middle-agers with some kids, some Hesher like punk dudes. There's this Hesh punk dude that's like right in front of us, and he was talking about my sister's tits or something with a Hooters
I was
t-shirt.
just trying to remember what
Super
that
weird.
was. It was like he kept pointing at Jen's shirt, and we were like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? But he kept trying to say, I guess, that he had the same Hooters shirt or something like that, but we couldn't like understand what he was saying. And so from our perspective, he just kept like pointing at her tits and being like, nice.
So I'm having to smoke while this is happening or getting drinks or whatever. So I come back and like all this had like happened, and then he sees me and starts apologizing to me.
Yeah.
Like he's like that's a piece of shit right there. Like I don't understand what's happening. I'm like, you're all right, man. Like I just thought he was just too drunk and apologizing for just like moving into our space or whatever. I was like, buddy, have some fun, man. It's all good. And then they're like, just look at my sister's tits, right?
Yeah,
like
have some fun.
Fucking right. So like then you're kind of putting it all together, and you know when you're at a party, I've said this a million times, or if you're in a public event or at a show especially, you know the guy that's going to get it. Right? You always know the guy that's going to get it. Either he's going to get tossed or he's going to get beat up or whatever the case is. This is the guy. And we're talking to him. Right? We're the closest ones to him. Yeah. And at this point now we've developed a rapport.
Oh no.
Yeah. So at one point, like I'm pretty good about like water off a duck's ass, but it makes the show shitty because I have one eye on him now. And like
of course, you're chameleon out.
Right? So anyway, at one point during the show, he's just dancing too much, and he gets kicked out of a Slackers show for just and like just like a slow two-step skank too, like nothing. He's not going crazy in the pit or anything. He's not circle pitting or anything like that. So he fucking gets tossed out, and at that point, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of whatever, right? Like shit happens, but like that's pretty awful for him, even though he is like the most fucked up guy in the room. I go for a cigarette like 2 fucking seconds later, and I'm walking out the door of the rickshaw, and all of a sudden 6 cops are like walking towards me, and it's this whole moment where I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they're looking at the bouncers of the rickshaw being like, is that the guy? And they're like, no, that's not the guy. And they point to like over at the corner store next door, and the guy, like that's the dude that just got kicked out or was over there. I guess he took a swing at a bouncer or whatever the case. And the rickshaw is in the worst neighborhood in Vancouver at Main and Hastings, so the police like the response time there is fucking 2 seconds because they're all there anyway, right? So they were like, at one point, I'm just looking 6 cops in the eye that are like, these guys are going to kick the shit out of me right now. Like, what did I do? And then it's like, no, him. And I look over and it's that guy. And you're like, because it was a little aggressive arrest. You know what I mean? For a guy that was just dancing too hard at a ska show. Regardless, even though he was like being shitty, or if he did take a swing at them, then that sucks too. But 6 cops shouldn't have fucked him up like that.
Yeah, that was.
That's like classic. Yeah, that's the VPD way though.
Exactly. Just like 6 pussies just have to like
real quick. Did you guys see the video of this guy proposing at the Dodgers game?
Man, let's talk about that for a second.
Real quick.
I didn't see it.
So, buddy. So this guy runs out onto center field during a Dodgers game. Yeah. Turns around to his girlfriend, gets on one knee, proposes to her, and it's like the play is stopped. Okay, there's not like it's so fucking slow.
It's
like it's opening day, dude. Opening day.
which is
Huge.
beauty, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in a festive environment. The place erupts, right? They're like,
They're
this guy's a
loving
beauty.
He's
Yeah.
down on one knee, and out of nowhere,
Oh,
it's
no.
a linebacker fucking security guard.
Oh,
and he does
no.
not see it coming.
He fucks him up so hard.
Levels this guy so
Oh,
hard.
no.
It's like he's just looking at her like, like, will
Probably
you
as
marry
she's
me?
saying yes.
Just like they're just
Yeah.
making eye contact, and she's not even looking at the guy because he's like,
Nobody, and the
he's
camera, you
looking
can't. The
from-
camera doesn't even have him.
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
He just comes into frame.
I want to see the full
Oh
full
my
field version
God.
because if this guy's coming all the way from right or left field or whatever,
Yeah.
because this dude's like looks like center field, right? Like right in the back.
Yeah.
So this guy must have ran from like, there's a lot of distance to make up there, and by the time he hit him, like he didn't fucking slow down at all. And it was cool because he's on one knee, so like this dude is like he only comes into frame for a second, and he's horizontal for half of it. Like,
Yeah.
just fucking
Yeah.
takes this guy out.
This guy gets
No,
And
okay.
levels him, and like at one point, it's the funniest thing that you ever see. But at some point, like after, you're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, that's aggressive."
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's a different perspective. Could this guy, the security guard who tackled him, be the hero of the story because public proposals are a terrible idea?
Sure. I would like to go even a little bit deeper. Like that's his ex-girlfriend, and like that's the guy. So like her new boyfriend is like not only have they like kind of like been in love or whatever.
He's
this guy
checked
maybe
it
made
off
a
with
mistake.
them because he works
Yeah.
security at the thing. He's
Dude,
like, "Hey
he's-
man, do you think you could be cool if I get on the field?" He's like, "Yeah,
Oh, that
No
would
problem.
be awesome. No
Yeah.
problem.
no problem, man.
I got you.
No problem,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Go,
for it.
You know, I'll be
Yeah.
by the bullpen just to make sure you're safe."
Yeah.
I'll let you get
I'll
on center
keep
field and
six.
propose to the woman I love
Yeah.
and just fuck you up. That is the best. So
mean,
yeah,
that's
shout out
hilarious.
to the Dodger Stadium staff. They're used to stabbings and stuff like that. I mean, like I
Yeah.
get it.
I mean,
Like,
it's a fun
people
day.
get beat
It's a
to
fun
death
day
in
at
that
work.
stadium,
Fun
so-
day at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fun day at
You
the
know.
ball game.
Yeah, but I think that you know what I mean. If you're in any sort of bouncing or security situation, I think it's up to you to identify a threat and the level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, that you have to react to that because
You
that
don't know if
guy's
that was a
concussed
ring that
for
could have been
sure.
a detonator box.
Yeah,
I was thinking about
exactly.
it too.
There's
is
a
that,
threat.
like if they hit him and the ring is just lost in center field now.
Oh,
Like-
should
Like
they all have
Mookie
to
Betts
get
is
make sure you
down?
get the ring. Make sure you
Mookie
get the ring.
Betts is gonna be ring.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. That's Mookie's ring now.
Yeah.
Mookie's ring now. But you get paid $700 million
Doesn't
a
matter.
game.
Mookie won it.
I don't care. Mookie wants it.
Mookie wants that ring.
Mookie's gonna get
Oh
his
my
ring.
god. So I'm trying to think the best order to do this because we have a fun story to get
Yes,
into.
we
I
do.
do have some stuff for foot fetish.
Yes.
Ooh,
The
nice.
Bigfoot. Let's do the story first and see how long it takes us because we have a bit of a time crunch. And then if we have time, we'll get into the Bigfoot stuff, and if not, we'll save it for our next.
Let's do it.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. So we have. Do you want to scroll up just so I can read the? There we go.
All right.
Experience Regina apologizes after criticism over new slogans sexualizing the city. Oh,
Experience
God.
Regina sexualizes the city.
I was
Naming-
that was my whole thing. I was like, Experience Regina is already suggested.
I
And it
mean,
is it's a recent name change from Tourism Regina. We'll get into it.
every time I hear the word Regina, I have to be reminded that it's also a city. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no. See,
Yeah, there's still the little boy giggle in the back of my
Yeah.
head.
right? I just want to draw
Yeah.
pussy lips on my desk.
Slogans such as "Show us your Regina" and
That fucking rules, you guys. It's
and
awesome.
the city that rhymes with fun received criticism. Like this is so good.
That
This guy's a
rules.
fucking hero.
This guy is a
Tim
fucking
Reed.
hero. You know he swings.
The
100% that guy.
organization in charge of tourism in Regina has apologized for slogans it used as part of a rebranding. Tourism Regina rebranded to Experience Regina last week. Already great. As part of the move, it unveiled several new tourism slogans. Reed confirmed the organization is apologizing for two of those slogans, Show Us Your Regina and The City That Rhymes with Fun, that received a lot of criticism online after the relaunch. Tim Reed, CEO of Experience Regina, published an apology on Sunday evening, days after unveiling the new brand on Thursday. Quote, I want to start by apologizing on behalf of myself and our team for the negative impact we created with elements of our recent brand launch, Reed wrote in a post published on social media. It was clear that we fell short of what is expected from our amazing community with some slogans that we used.
I mean, if it's a government position or something and you got to get back on your heels a little bit and issue an apology to keep your job or something, but nobody... Like, who is really mad at this? Because I mean, if I'm a resident, if I'm living in the city of Regina, then I'm not only doing this. Like, I'm buying it's merch days, right?
Yeah,
like 100%,
exactly,
right? You're buying T-shirts, you're doing all that shit, and then not only that, like we need to come up with our own Regina slogans and send them more.
Yeah, it could become like a viral thing where people are making like this is a fun. Like, I would love it if...
we should go... I mean, we might have to put boots on the ground and do a Show Me Your Regina.
Show Me Your Regina, yeah. Like that, if we ever find ourselves in Regina, that's... I mean, it has to happen.
There's a Winnipeg Comedy Festival that's not... You know what I mean? I mean, it's like we could definitely get over there, and I feel like we have to now just to save the city from itself.
Yeah, it's foolish of them.
It's crazy.
100%.
Why are you leaning into this?
Right? It's the same thing with Vancouver, like no fun city or whatever, right? Like you can't have anything good or whatever just because, you know what I mean? Somebody.
Do you think it's because maybe there's too many God people there, or there's like? Is it
really
could
be. I mean,
I would
you're
imagine.
Out in,
you know what I mean? That's the bread belt right there. That's farming. You know what I mean?
Can't be talking about.
It sounds like.
Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds like the criticism was a lot of older residents, more conservative. You know, it's the vocal minority. You know, that always fucks things up.
Exactly right, but they're the only ones that vote. They're a small percentage of people. They make stupid comments on YouTube or whatever. They're they. They're they.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, right? They're gonna get you, right? That's them, and there's like 50 of them, right? And they're all fucking shitty. And I feel like we need to rise up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we need to have this guy's back because this is
an
amazing marketing tactic. This makes me want to go to Regina.
I want a shirt that just has like every euphemism for pussy like written across it and just say Regina at the bottom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, right? Like wizard
sick.
Sleeve, axe wound, bin, like all this like crazy shit.
Wow.
Mud flaps.
Yeah, ooh, I love it, right? And then fucking Experience Regina right at the bottom.
That's great. That's great.
How can we get sponsored by Experience Regina?
I don't know, but like we're gonna fly the flag for them out west. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
Feel like
we're gonna try to get sponsored by Experience Regina. Just
it's the only thing. Yeah, exactly. Every other thing is moved to the back burner.
Experience Regina.
I mean,
I want to
hilarious.
experience Regina.
Who doesn't want to experience Regina?
Imagine you got off the plane and it smelled a little funky. You got there, you're like, all right, okay.
Experience.
Yeah, this is a good first experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In an interview on Monday, Reed took responsibility for the rebranding's failures, despite there being others involved in the process, including stakeholders, agencies, and focus groups. Focus groups! Come on! When asked about his future with the organization, Reed said it will be decided by the organization's owners and board of directors. Don't do this guy dirty like that.
Yeah.
Come on. He said Experience Regina learned over the weekend that we just went too far. The city didn't appreciate it and our community didn't appreciate it and we were just wrong, Reed said. Regina Mayor Sandra Masters is expected to speak about the rebrand and subsequent apology after City Council on Wednesday. Marketing tactics, quote, bumped into sexuality.
I mean,
Sandra, you need to get your shit together and do what's right. You know what I mean? Right?
Come
as far
on,
as,
give this guy a break.
The first Regina I ever saw was from a girl named Sandra. So like, you need to fucking make this right, Sandra.
And you know what? You hired this guy for a reason.
Yeah.
Because he brought an element to the table to rebrand. You know,
he
wanted
brought
something
in focus
different.
groups. He had people
Groups.
focusing on the Regina.
And it went through it's not like this guy made a unilateral decision and was like, this is what we're doing with
he's
this
not
city
sitting
now.
up on his high chair being
He
like, hey.
kicked the door in at the ad agency like, fuck off, boys, I got this.
Show me your
one.
Regina.
Yeah, listen, we're going to experience this. If you're not on board, eat a bag of dicks if you're not into experiencing this Regina.
Exactly. Right? What more do you want? It's so inviting, you know what I mean? Right? It's open, it's warm, and you know what I mean, but moist in a good way.
You
know
still
what I mean?
think about it
Like
in your
a
head, like
dewy
we
morning.
said. So why not lean into this?
Yeah.
Fucking up.
According to Reed, the Experience Regina theme and song received positive feedback, but some of the marketing tactics bumped into sexuality and should never have done that. Gotta hear the song.
Yeah.
He said,
100%.
I bet it slaps.
Yeah, totally. I bet it's great. He said the tourism organization crossed the line on some of the poking fun at ourselves around our city name. Reed said a conversation he had on the topic over the weekend stuck out in his mind. He said he was asked, would you be proud to have this conversation with your kids?
Yeah.
Right?
That rules.
Right?
It's really funny.
Because it's hilarious. They were right, Reed said. Anything that has a sexual nature or connotation or has been the focal point of criticism from the community has been removed, Reed said. Okay, so what is so wrong about having that conversation with your kids? Like, as if they're not going to find out what a vagina is?
Yeah.
They're already laughing about the fact that they live in Regina.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, they hear much worse things at school. Why is that a terrible conversation to have with your kids? Like, hey, this is hilarious. Because
it's
this
a great
is how
way
you
to
do
explain
a fun
comedy
play on
to
words.
like you know what I mean to a youngster, right? And like but this actually like creates an opening, I think, for the city's artists and the city's youth, you know what I mean, to fight back.
A bit of an opening, you say?
There might be an opening in Regina right now. That these kids can can really penetrate and get in and get out and get in and get out again and then get back in again.
Yeah, I get it.
So what these kids can actually do now, or I guarantee you, it's going to be like head shops. Graffiti all over the city. So it's up to the city and counterculture really to push this forward. So now you're going to have a form of rebellion in the sense of of this, which is guaranteed already happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, if any of our listeners are from Regina, it's in your hands now. You got to take this and run with it.
In your fingers.
Yeah, right in your fingers. And you gotta show that it's the people who complained, as we said, are a vocal minority, and now is the time to stand up and show that most people fucking love this shit.
Exactly, right? You need to take the labia minora out of the situation and be the vocal labia majora.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's up to you.
100%.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
The vocal majora.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you need to do is find that little pearl on top, then keep rubbing it. And keep rubbing it until...
That's what I'm saying. This is for
I
all.
don't know. I've never really. What
this is for all of Regina. Okay, that's right. You get up to the tippy top, right? Put your nose in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do a little motorboat because it's fun.
This is great.
He's like, neither one of these. You
gotta
have
stop
any
motorboating.
idea how the Regina works?
Yeah. You guys talk to me. I'll tell you how to handle Regina.
Am I doing it right?
No, you're still in Winnipeg.
Yeah. It's a completely different province.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, I fucked that up. Sorry, guys.
Kristen McLeod, a former Tourism Regina board member and one of the many people that criticized the new slogans, called the campaign blatantly disrespectful to people in the city. She wrote a letter to the mayor on the subject, and on Monday she spoke with Stephanie Lang. Oh, I can't say that. That doesn't sound good. Stephanie L. on CBC's.
Oh, wow.
On CBC's The Morning Edition, and again later in an interview with CBC. McLeod said she was shocked when the rebrand was announced and she saw a section on the organizations. You just saw the name. Can't say that out loud. Yeah, she saw a section on the
Good catch, Jeff.
Yeah, I started
If we
saying,
say anything on this podcast, we do not say that.
Yeah, I started saying it. I was like, I'm not going to finish that.
Well,
Yeah.
There is no way to round off that cartwheel at the end of that name.
Yeah, especially because I
can't stick that way.
yeah,
Two hands
especially
up.
because I was sounding it out too. So it's like, oh no.
You're clapping out the syllables.
Yeah,
We'll put it up for everyone.
Yeah. We'll
really
put the
funny
link
if,
in
like,
the caption. You guys can read it for yourself.
The English language is tricking you into saying it.
McLeod said she was shocked when the rebrand was announced, and she saw a section on the organization's website that said it wanted to make Regina sexy. It's sexualizing the city when it isn't necessary, McLeod said. She was curious what the slogan's sexual connotations suggest about the city, and if male genitalia would have been a focus in the future. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
these are the
Bordeaux.
possibilities, how it can kind of, elaborate and grow.
Totally.
The campaign led McLeod to feel she didn't belong in Regina for the first time in nearly 50 years she has lived in the city. Maybe you don't belong in Regina, McLeod.
Yeah, if you have that kind of attitude, then nobody should let you in Regina.
Yeah, exactly. Stay out of Regina. McLeod said Regina
She's
doesn't want you in
Lebowski
there.
in Malibu.
Yeah.
Out of Regina, McLeod.
McLeod said she appreciates Reed's willingness to take accountability and wants to know how the organization will move forward, but put the blame on the city of Regina and said both the city and mayor need to take responsibility.
It did. Shut the fuck up.
Right? Do you want to scroll? That's all good. Cheryl Cheryl posted to Facebook Monday afternoon stating she had no advance notice of the campaign slogans and was disappointed and appalled with the sexist messaging of the new Experience Regina. I don't think it's sexist. Do we want men harassing women in bars chanting "Show us your Regina"? There's so many serious ramifications of these slogans. As a society, we have a responsibility to teach boys and men about consent. These slogans do the opposite. Okay. Disagree. Like, yeah, this is the fucking problem, is that they say, oh, we need to teach our boys better, which is true. But the problem isn't city slogans for "Show us your Regina." That's not encouraging that's not the problem at hand, you know? And it's taking one thing and then shoehorning it in to a problem that's very real, but then you take the credibility out of this issue by 100%. Saying that a city slogan is going to encourage sexual harassment.
I've never seen a slogan on a hilarious t-shirt. And then like when my brother had an FBI shirt when I was in elementary school, as a female boob inspector.
I know of a different one.
I usually see female body inspector.
Oh, body inspector. Oh, it might have been body, might have been boob, can't remember. But either way, like, I didn't take that, you know what I mean? Like, I was, still trying to, like, talk to girls, but you know what I mean? You're trying to do it in a more, like, I didn't wear the shirt to school one day and start lifting up fucking, shirts and shit like that or whatever, right? Like, I feel like that's a far, leap, from one to being, you know what I mean? Like, the fucking swim team.
The suggestion is that there's going to be like a teenage boy who is not, they're not going to sexually harass a woman. That's the path they're on. And then they see this slogan, "Show me your Regina," and all of a sudden they take a left turn, and now they're a sexual predator.
Everything my mama taught me went right out the window
once
I saw the "Show me your Regina" thing, and I just started grabbing girls by the pussy, and you know what I mean, right? And that's just not the way it goes down.
Yeah. Stadnichuk said those responsible for the campaign must answer to council and the public about how the campaign was allowed to happen. McLeod said after she went public with her concerns, she received messages from parents concerned about how they should approach talking with their children about the slogans when they lean into, if not outright embrace, sexual innuendo. Again, this is not a difficult conversation with your children, or even one you need to have about your city slogan.
I was like, I don't know of any city slogan.
Yeah.
Like an actual official city slogan.
Actually,
like what?
Duncan, City of Totems.
City of Champions. The Silver City, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there was no point where the City of Totems was a conversation in our household at all.
Man, I feel like I've let my city down, guys. I'll be honest. Yeah. Like, man, you guys okay? Never mind.
Wagner definitely has a fucking
Tawasin. We're white.
Yeah. As opposed,
don't mind the name.
Yeah.
We took this.
Yeah. As opposed to kind of figuring out something that we can all get behind and be proud of, that your 7-year-old can say. No one's saying the city slogan, pointing to the slogan, "the city that rhymes with fun." A 7-year-old can say that. When your 7-year-old can't.
That's hilarious for a 7-year-old to say.
It's hilarious. It's so good.
7-year-old told me that I would die.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's so funny.
When your 7-year-old shouldn't probably explain the slogan of your city, then that's a problem, don't you think? No. She said she doesn't take issue with businesses making products with similar slogan, but that the city should be held to a higher standard, especially given high rates of domestic violence in the region. Again, not related.
Dorks.
Yeah. When McLeod learned that the organization will keep the name Experience Regina, she was taken aback. She said the name needs to change after it was ruined with the rebranding campaign. At least they're keeping Experience Regina. The rebrand marked the first significant move from Reed, also the CEO of Regina Exhibition Limited, since or also known as Real, since Real was put in charge of the city's tourism organization last year.
Real Regina is
It's
even
so
funnier. Like, no,
good.
there's nothing that you
Yeah.
can do that's not going to be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can
Lean
put before
into
or
it.
after
What
the
are you
word
trying to
Regina
fight
that is
for?
not awesome.
It's an attempt to capitalize off a phrase popularized by Experience Regina, a viral video viewed nearly 700,000 times after it was uploaded to YouTube in 2008. Okay, so this is already out there.
I would love to have like a slogan like the Windy City or whatever. It's like Regina, feel the breeze. Or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. It's like everything is going to be hilarious.
The video exploded in popularity in 2018 after Jimmy Fallon played the song on The Tonight Show. Oh, okay, so this is a thing that already existed, and they're just taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the issue?
What was the show?
I guess it was the Experience Regina. There was like a viral video. We'll
the
link
song.
to it. Yeah, a
Well,
viral
they
song. Yeah.
Capitalized on it, absolutely.
Due to the similarity between the words Regina and vagina.
Oh, that's what it is?
Wait.
Oh,
Hold on a
wow.
Guys, we might need
wow.
to backpedal a little bit
Yeah.
here.
The name of the
Can't
song.
believe you just said that.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
the name,
gross.
I'll bleep it out. The name of the song, we wouldn't want to have to explain it to 7-year-olds. The
There's
song
7-year-old listens to this
from-
show, right? 7-year-old rules.
Yeah, from Fallon's co-host, members of his band, and the show's audience, the crude joke and comparison is something the rebrand was meant to lean into, Reed told CBC on Friday. At the time, he said the connotation around the phrase was unavoidable. I think that the affiliation will always be an undertone that we face, he said, urging the public to be proud of the city's name no matter what. There you go. For those that want to have a moment of humor with it, that's not a bad thing. Embrace it. We're not changing the name of the city of Regina anytime soon.
You're damn
Thank
right.
you. Marjorie, there are so many
Jesus
unnecessary
Christ, these
people
names.
chiming in here. Yeah.
What are these
I,
names?
Yeah.
I think
No,
you
one
know,
of these people didn't get behind the idea.
Yeah.
imagine
exactly,
if like you're
yeah.
like the everything that that you're rallying behind, like when you get into your car and drive into town, or just even like, you know what I mean, look at outside your window and not just thank the good Lord that you're living in a city that rhymes with something so fucking hilarious. Like, how can
Right.
you get on a high horse about anything here? Because I guarantee that any slogan or like if this is like the first time this has happened in the history of this city, then what the fuck else has been happening in this city?
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
here's my hot take: is that they're the naysayers to Experience Regina and Show Me Your Regina, and they're saying that this somehow feeds into sexual harassment and domestic violence and all of this. But my take is that you're demonizing the word vagina, and that contributes to that contributes more to negative connotations surrounding female
Absolutely.
sexuality than rather than just embracing it, because there's nothing wrong with it.
Celebrate Regina.
Exactly. Celebrate Regina.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah. This is, I mean, and as our boy Reed was saying, like, these connotations exist no matter what, and so by embracing it, it's you know, it doesn't change the fact that this is out there. It's just embracing it. It's having bringing some levity to the situation and using it to your advantage, you know.
Totally.
And it'll bump tourism for sure.
100%.
Like-
Well, what the city council of Regina needs to do is shut the fuck up, get spit on in a loving way, and loosen up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because this fucking, you know, it's a waste of time and community resources when it's so undoubtedly awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's something that, like I said, as soon as there's
Regina,
backlash
Jimmy
against
fucking
it.
Fallon or whatever. Like,
Exactly.
when the last time, you know what I
Like,
mean?
it was on the Tonight Show. Why wouldn't you bring that into your rebranding?
Of course,
when he
they
was
did
hired to
shit
do
on
a
it. There's
job?
an old Simpsons episode where they get to Regina or whatever. Like, what's the
The World's Fair.
The World Fair,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
whatever.
just-
Nobody
it's like-
lives here. Or
Yeah.
something.
It's like
Just
it
get shit
ended in
on in the thing.
1984.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a factory of wigs now. And they're all just sitting on the curb with different wigs on. It's a great episode.
I mean, so like, get your shit together. I think they should. I don't know if they think that they're the best kept secret, because it's not true.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, experience a little levity.
Yeah, an
Loosen up,
experience
Regina.
All right. Do we think it's 1:51?
You got a guest coming in 9 minutes.
Do we think he's going to be on time? let's just go into the album and let's not rush it because I think this Bigfoot stuff we're gonna want to get into.
Okay.
It's some fun.
I
So
got a little,
we'll save that.
jingle in the works here, folks.
Oh, is that right? For foot fetish?
Okay.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. All right. We'll save that for our next solo pod. And so we're going to get into the album. I brought in Mother's second studio album released in 2008, Oh My Heart. I have a lot of memories with this album. Mother is from Quadra Island, which is an island off the coast of Vancouver Island. So they're very big on the island. And yeah, I just, have a lot of memories driving around Duncan and the Cowichan Valley with Shelby, listening to Mother.
Oh my heart.
Smoking a little ganja.
This is a cool. This would be a cool like weed smoking driving record for sure.
Yeah,
There's
get that
a lot
midnight
of
drive
cool
vibe.
vibes.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of cool vibes.
Or
on
even
this
like
one.
Rainy Drive. Or like,
Yeah, they're a very cool indie rock band. They have a very unique sound. I remember when I first heard the band, I didn't realize that the lead singer was a guy. I thought he was a girl.
Yeah.
Like, he has such a unique voice. And what did you think of the
Loved
album?
it. I've never. I don't know. I didn't know this band prior to doing the research for this episode, and then listening to the album, I didn't realize how many of the songs I'd heard before. A lot of the stuff is like really popular. My Daddy's Got a Gun and all that stuff. on
Yeah, they have a
If,
lot of sleeper hits that it's like
sure.
you hear the song, you're like, oh fuck, I've heard this song, but I don't know this
I
band.
had no idea that they were
Yeah.
like a PC band or anything like
Yeah.
that, and if they like had a. I'm sure they have a massive following or whatever. I would go and see them live because I got to. I haven't been doing Spotify for the past few months, so I just did. I did the YouTube playlist, and when you go play the album, it'll also play all the videos that they have for the singles.
Oh yeah.
And there's some fucking really cool visuals that they have. If you,
Yeah.
any listener, go and check out all the videos that these guys make because. If anybody is like a fan of like the new Aesop Rock stuff or the really artsy kind of kind of cut and paste and like cool collage stuff or whatever, or like Alkaline Trio, I think this band reminds me a lot of like Alkaline Trio without Satan and more like kind of cool vibes or whatever. But I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, they are. They're very like different and kind of do their own thing. I haven't seen them live, but I've heard they're amazing live. They do a lot of like the festivals on the island and shit, but I haven't been able to see them. But they still,
If they came to town,
get
I'll check them
around.
out for sure.
Yeah, they're really cool, and I do believe that they are Vancouver based now.
Okay.
I don't think they still live on Quadra, from what I know. But
Shout out Mother, come on the show. Tell us about yourself.
yeah,
Tell us
yeah.
about your
I
Regina.
feel like they used to always be in at the Canby when I worked there. Like
Really?
they were. Like,
I can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
That checks out.
Yeah. Because I think they had like like one of the rehearsal spots was like just down. There was a
around the
ton of
corner.
gas
Yes.
down there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think they used to like come there like all the time. But yeah, super fucking good band.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy because they were like so big
Yeah.
at that point. What do you say? 2008.
2008. Yeah.
Like I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
it's like
Yeah.
that was like a really good boom of like Canadian shit happening. Like Feist was fucking kind of big really like, around that area, and like his Broken Social Scene also kind of part of that whole kind of whatever. Mother was like I don't know, but our like West Coast version, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were fucking huge.
They did have a big pop, and they also later on, when TikTok came out, I believe a bunch of their songs from this album went viral on TikTok, and so then they kind of had a later
Little
boom
resurgence.
too with like the younger generation. But yeah, they're really cool, and like I mean, they have the musicianship is fantastic. Like they have some like fucking like really cool like hard rock sounds, and then as someone who is like not that into lyrics, I know all the lyrics for these songs, and they really like stick with me, and yeah, just the way that he thinks about stuff and talks about stuff for whatever reason really resonates with me, and yeah, it is kind of like a nostalgia thing as well, and so. I never know with like bands, especially like a band like this that to me is like so like islandy. I never know if it like translates off the island or whatever, and especially because I have a bunch of memories with it. But yeah, I think it's just like they're objectively like really good band.
For sure.
They're, like very unique
sure.
and cool.
Yeah, it was fun because like indie rock is definitely like a blind spot to me for sure. So I'm sure there's like a lot of stuff, like especially in 2008. I just graduated that year. I might have turned my nose up to it at a time, so it was cool that I got to kind of get it in a time where I'm a little bit more mature and actually and listening to it and watching it. And I think like they got the whole package or whatever. And I think seeing them would be cool. They got the 2 female backup singers and stuff like that, and just this like a uniqueness about them that they're not afraid to do something a little bit different. Like, do you guys know Spoon?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Fucking weird, but not too weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's the perfect way to describe them.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I think it's they have a perfect little thing going. If they're, I didn't get a lot of island. Well, I guess I'm not from an island, so I didn't get a lot of island vibes from it. You know what I mean? I think this place.
Yeah,
anyway.
You're from the City of Champions.
Yeah,
dude,
I think
goddamn
it's
right.
just
And I did not get very City Champion vibes from these guys.
I think it's just the association that I had with it or whatever is listening to it at home. But yeah, and the album also like you said, it has like some really like fast paced, like cool, like rocking songs, and then it has like slower ones like Ghosting and stuff that are they kind of do the
way
whole
the album
the whole
flows
gamut.
is great.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think like front to back,
Great
it's
like rock album.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like, and I like the way that like they do. I think it's weird because when you think of just like rock or whatever, like they're like like mainstream or indie rock or punk rock or whatever. I like the way that certain people do it, and I can't really explain why. Like the Queens of the Stone Age don't really do it for me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I love the Bronx. You know what I mean? For like whatever. So for like, but I don't see a lot of like differences other than like well, obviously the way they write their songs, the energy and all that stuff. So this one was interesting to me because this on the surface I would have thought might not be up my my particular cup of tea, but I ended up really enjoying it. So that's rad.
Yeah, and they're still putting music out. I believe their bassist, who had been with them forever, recently left the band, but they're still putting out new shit. And yeah, they have a lot of albums and yeah, I recommend anyone to obviously check out the album. It's a great album, but then if you like it, go into their catalog of albums and stuff.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was a quick,
that was nice.
Quick little synopsis.
I heard we could name the whole episode after that.
I was going to say, it's becoming less and less of a music podcast. We get into the music, and it's like, there's not really a...
Experience Mother.
Yeah, we need to...
And Regina.
Mother,
Regina, yeah. Guys, we need to stop lying to ourselves. We know what we are. We might get some different names for the episodes.
There's a way
coming
to, work in... I don't know. It's hard to flip gears from... because you want to do the album justice or whatever.
Yes.
But then you also want to have fun with it. And if there's a way that we can kind of start, I don't know, working the fun like into the album discussion or something like that. I'm spitballing here. You guys feel free to
good, but I
contribute.
do think that now we might be going into like algorithm, inside baseball here or whatever. But I've been talking to people that won't listen to particular episodes because they don't like the particular band, and that's the thing name. So if the episode name is funny, then they can just get into.
We can switch up the name
we'll
format.
figure it out, guys. We're after 100 episodes. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
And hey, there's gonna be a little change coming to the studio.
Oh, very exciting!
Yeah, that's very exciting. It's gonna be a bit of a new look. A bit of a new look. That's gonna be pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Experience Regina.
Oh, please do. Experience it again and again.
Yeah, and listen to Mother, and
Peace.